Hello.
Oh, hey folks. Just gonna get you off my speakers and into my earphones. Hold on a sec.
Hello.
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 Luke, I pulled at you last night.
You pulled on me.
I was up.
What was the exit slip? Yeah, I think it was just those questions. Yeah, the exit slip yesterday was just to finish the AP classroom question. You can just type in the answer that you got. Yeah, so if you can actually fill out the exit slip as well as submit your solution and your images and everything to AP Classroom, that'd be super. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. As long as you fill them all out at some point. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a little announcement. Has anyone checked Google Classroom today? Like, do you get push notifications on your phone or anything like that? Okay. So yeah, the announcement for today is that the AP Classroom progress checks are going to be worth marks. Progress checks. Pardon me? Yeah. So they're going to be worth just a small amount of your grade. It's going to be 5% of your final grade. Pardon me? Complacer marks? Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it's going to be worth 5% of your grade. And I'm doing this for two reasons. Well, one reason is I want us to, and I think I've kind of gone over this a couple times already, but one reason is that I want us to get used to the system. I think that it's really important to get the hang of submitting your answers. And I know that some of you are already doing it, and that's fantastic. But right now, here, I'll just share with you my progress so far. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Hmm. Yeah, would you mind sending that to me too? And then I can distribute that and put it on like Google Classroom because what are you saying? It was you. It wasn't an email. It was a message that you got from someone else. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. Okay. Okay. Mm. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, let's get back to this. Yeah, if you're on YouTube and you're not able to hear the chat, a student informed me that they got a message. Okay, so so there's been some links that have been posted in the Discord. I'll post those links in the on the website, so you can have access to those. Basically, it's a link to a practice exam. It sounds like the practice exam is just about being able to submit things. It's not really about like the actual content or questions. So I think it's a really good idea to check that out. I'll put that on the website, and I'll put it on Google Classroom. I'll kind of just put it on all the avenues that we have to communicate with. It's already on Discord, so I won't add it to Discord, of course. But yeah, so as I was saying, so the announcement is that not only do I want you to get used to this style of doing your work on paper, photographing it, uploading it to their system. So that's one of the reasons why I want you to do it. The other reason is to go through all of the content, right? So like our textbook has a lot of really good problems in it. We also have Mr. McIntosh's tests, which are also very good questions. But I think it's important to practice the type of question that you'll be asked on the 12th, right? So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna assign one of these every day. It's just one question. I mean, sometimes it's a multi-part question. In fact, I think they're all multi-part questions. And the first group, so I think it's going to be unit, unit 2 to 5. That's going to be due on Monday, the 4th, May 4th. All right. Exactly. Star Wars Day. Monday. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, Monday. Thank you. Monday, May 4th, unit 6 to 8, and then 10, because we're going to skip unit 9. That's going to be due on the following Monday. That will be May 11th. Okay. Perfect. Did I say Friday? No, it says Monday. Yeah, May 4th and then May 11th. Yeah. So this information is on Google Classroom. So I am doing my best to make sure that everyone has that information. I may send out an email. I know that some of these extra announcements may seem redundant to you, but I am certainly not certain that I'm contacting every student. Just based on the exit slips. I know that a lot of you have some outstanding exit slips, and I know you're here, but even so, those numbers are much smaller than our class size. So that tells me that not everyone is watching the videos, in which case I can't just rely on these videos as a means of communication. So 5% of your grade will be these questions. I know that a couple people in the exit slip mentioned that they were a little displeased with this idea. I'm sorry, but I really think that the benefit of trying these questions outweighs just not doing them. Because I think I was going to mention how many people have actually done them. Right now, the Unit 3 one, 5 people have completed, right? So that's a third of the class. So I can't just say do it and then expect everyone to do it. That's just not how it works. So sometimes as a teacher, you just assign a little bit of marks and then boom, everyone does it. And I really think it's important to do this because it's not like a typical calculus question, right? Like questions from our book they're great questions, but they're not the same type of questions that you'll find on the AP exam. So it's really important that we practice these questions, and it's also really important to practice, taking a picture, uploading it, and all of that. I think I mentioned we have 5 minutes to do that, and I can really imagine that 5 minutes going by very quickly. It may seem like a long time, but I was talking to one of my old university professors about this just the other day, and she was saying that they gave their students half an hour to upload their final exam because they just had some final exams throughout April, and they thought that half an hour would be more than enough time, and apparently they had hundreds of students and even parents of students calling the university, people in tears, unable to figure the system out, and it was a complete disaster, and that was 30 minutes. So we have 5 minutes. It's I'm mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing though. It has very little to do with your own internet connection. I mean, how many AP students are there? Like tens of thousands, right? So I'm concerned about their server load. Like I don't think that their servers are cuz I'm not Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of my concerns. I'm concerned about their servers. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure they have people thinking about this, but I mean, regardless of who you are, I mean, even if you do have AWS, like Amazon's scalable servers, it does take time to scale it up, right? So they might have some package where they're able to deal with so much bandwidth, and then maybe they have some kind of agreement with Amazon or whatever that when they reach a particular load, then their bandwidth increases, but that still takes time, right? So I am a little concerned about their servers, but I don't want to make you anxious. I have the feeling that if one of your exams were to have some kind of failure due to server load, you wouldn't be alone, right? It wouldn't be just you, right? So if it was a problem, it would be a massive problem, and it would be some kind of, they would take it very seriously. So you wouldn't be left in the dust. So yep. Yeah, I know. So it would be great if nothing bad happened. And chances are, like, if I had to put money on it, I would guess that things will go okay. I really truly believe things are going to be okay. The thing is that there's no guarantee, right? There's definitely a lot of variables. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I still think that even if it's like, regardless of how big the exam is, I think that the first exam is going to be the one that is the most susceptible to failure, right? Because even if there's like twice as many people taking calculus as physics, like their server load is going to go from like there'll be like a 10,000% increase in bandwidth, regardless of the size of the exam, right? So like that would be the exam that I would be concerned about failing, is the first one. And even if the next one is bigger, then I feel like at least they would get everything sorted out after that first exam, and then make any quick patches to their software or their bandwidth package or what have you. And I would imagine that the second exam would be much safer than the first exam. But even so, I still truly believe that it will be okay. I mean, there's very intelligent people who are thinking about these things, and that's their full-time job right now, right? Like that's all they're doing is planning for this exam. So I have faith that things will work out, but of course it's not a guarantee. So anyway, back to this. I put up Unit 4, the free response questions. So you'll have until Monday, so that gives you the weekend, to work on units 2 through 5. If you've already done 2 and 3, then that's fantastic. I've been giving out your marks. As far as I understand, you should be able to see your grade as soon as I'm finished marking it. I think I've marked almost all of them, if not all of them that have been handed in so far. One thing I want to talk a little bit about is the marking scheme, and this is kind of it's new to me too, because of course they have their own marking scheme that I think is important to understand. So I'm just gonna pull up a kind of like a random question here, and I'll share with you some of the things that they want to see. So if we go back to yesterday's question. Part A. So if we look at, so I'm just going to use this as an example. So if we look at, what was it, question 1A, from Unit 3. So that was the one that I did yesterday, and they gave you that table, right? They had like x, f of x, and f prime of x. Right, remember this one, and they give you -3, 0, 3, 4, etc. So they gave you this table, blah 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 blah, and they asked you a couple questions like what's the I think the first question, part A, was calculate g prime of -1. So they were looking for a couple of things. So when I'm filling out the grading, and I would assume that whoever's grading your final exam would have the same little piece of software to grade it, they gave you checkboxes, and the checkboxes say, there's a little message that says the student response the student response does not accurately, or sorry, includes. So there's two checkboxes for part A. They wanted to see, they wanted the student to write g prime of x, and they wanted the student to write g prime of -1. Okay, so I think a lot of people, you've got lots and lots of work, but nowhere does it have g prime of x, right? In which case, even if you got the answer correct, you would get 1 out of 2, right? So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it is imperative to show every little tiny piece of work, right? Like all of the information that you can possibly have, show it. No, that's just on the teacher's end. So I'll take a little picture and I'll just show you. I think the easiest way. Yeah, I'll show you the marking guide, and I won't include the solution because and I'll airdrop it to myself. Here we go. Come on, airdrop. I won't share it. I won't show you this solution because it is worth marks. I don't know why airdrop is not working. I'm pressing it. Oh, here we go. There it is. Okay. So yeah, neither point can be earned for a response that does not apply to the chain rule. Okay. So the second point may be earned with a maximum of 1 error in g prime of x, yada yada yada, unless the error is failing to apply the chain rule. Substitution of function values is required. Anyways. The way this is marked is like I check these boxes here. I don't know if you can actually, here, why don't I do this and then I can draw on it. So like I have to like check these boxes, and then if I check one box, then it would automatically like make this thing blue, right? So that's really all they're doing is, and then the solution to these things, like it tells you what g prime of x is, it tells you what g prime of -1 is. So really all they're doing is they're going through your work and saying, oh, do they have g prime of x? Check. Do they have g prime of -1? Check. And then that's it. That's it. So that's how this thing is being marked. And I think you should know that. Yeah. So I've been pretty generous with the marking because I'm marking it myself now, and I can kind of understand what you're doing, and I've seen your guys' work for long enough to know sort of what kind of mistakes that you guys typically make and that sort of thing. So I've been fairly generous. So in several examples, there a student gave the final answer, and clearly they were able to, like for example, like it's pretty hard to get g prime of 1 without actually knowing what g prime of x is, right? So if you got g prime of -1, then I just gave you 2 check boxes. But it's not going to be me marking this, right? It's going to be someone else. So the point I'm trying to make is that you should like write down everything. Write down absolutely everything. So you don't have to worry about being concise here. Like you don't have to like give me like a nice, beautiful, little, elegant solution. No. Show all your work, every single step. Every step of the way. I think another one, the one from Unit 2, that one was where you had to use the product rule, I think. There was one where we had to use the product rule, and I think we had n of x or something. We had n of x, f of x, and g of x, and n of x was equal to the product of f of x times g of x, or something like that. And they wanted us, and then I think the question was asking what's n prime of x, right? And the checkboxes were, does the student have f prime of x? Does the student have g prime of x? G prime of x. Does the student have n prime of x? So, do you know what I'm trying to say here? Like you could easily just go straight to this answer and then use the product rule and get everything right. But if you didn't explicitly write out what f prime of x is, g prime of x is, and then tell me what n prime of x is, yeah, then you wouldn't get full marks. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So that's I mean that's how, as far as I understand, I can show you the marking guide. I'll bring it up. I'll take another picture. But I think it's really important that you know how these questions are marked. So what is it? It was Unit 2 Progress Check Part A. I'll preview that one. Oh no, I guess I have to actually be in the marking mode. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little concerned about this system. Like, this system is very laggy, and we're not even in exam time right now. Okay, Unit 2 Progress Check Part A. This is the one with the absolute value looking graph. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll review some of the solutions here. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, I'll take a picture of this one too. There it is. Okay, and I'll share this with myself again. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, right. Yeah. So I guess I didn't quite remember it perfectly, but yeah, the point is that you still have to find f prime of -1. You have to find f prime of g prime of -1, and then n prime of -1. Even though in the question it doesn't tell you explicitly to say that, right? The question is, the function n is defined by n of x. Yeah, they just tell you that, yeah, the function, where are we? Here we go. Yeah, they just tell you basically this, and then they say n prime, yeah, find n prime of -1, and then the one thing that they do say is show the work that leads to your answer. So yeah, they do say to show your work, but they don't say that you need to find f prime of, I guess it was -1, right? So you have to show everything. So just show every little bit, and I think that can go a long way in the way that this thing is graded. Because I do strongly believe that we need to have some strategy here, right? It's not just about, you know, knowing your stuff and writing the answer, but it is important to understand how these things are graded, and how the person is going to grade you on the 12th. So yet another reason why I think this is really important, that this is worth marks, so that we can practice some of this stuff, and hopefully that having it worth 5% of your final grade will kind of light a fire under you and really push you to actually get your hands dirty and try these questions. And you know, I mean, this could be a good way to bump your grade too, right? Like, these questions, like, they're not too bad, and there's a lot of opportunity to collaborate with one another. And I mean, this is not only can it bump your grade, but it can be a good learning experience too. Did you have a question? Yes. Oh, I can post. Why don't I post on the website where I'm getting these list of topics, and then you can have all of them. And it's great because they actually have like these fairly thorough PDFs that have a whole bunch of information on like all the different processes that they want you to be able to do with respect to these different topics. So I'll post some PDFs as well. I believe, I have no idea how other AP classes work, but like, do you have, like, I would imagine you would have units in other AP classes, like AP Physics would have units, yeah? Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, I only have access to AP Calculus. I mean, I've got AB and BC, but those are my only options. So, mm-hmm. Um, yeah, the name of the PDF, like, if is the unit guide. So if you looked up like, yeah, if you looked up like AP Physics unit guide, they've got a PDF at least for calculus. Um, I'll download this and put it in the Discord. I'll give you the Unit 4 one. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the calculus one. I'm just putting it in the Discord now. Calculus Unit 4. So these are the PDFs that I'm going off of, and they look like they're fairly like generated in that like they must have some kind of database that's pumping these PDFs out. So I would imagine that they would have something similar to this in the physics realm. It's on my AP Classroom thing. So I've when I assign these different progress checks, they've got, it's like, okay, Unit 1, and then, oh, by the way, here's a unit guide. I also have a question bank and things like that. So that's where I'm getting them. I'm not sure. And I actually have one for the. Okay, here's another good one. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll post this one as well. This one is kind of like a compilation of all of them. Course content. Yeah. Okay, I'll post this one. This is good information. Yeah, and this has everything on it. Yeah. Unit guides. Okay, yeah, I'll post this PDF on the website. It's really good information. A couple months ago, I posted a screenshot of this on the website. I kind of imagined that there would have been a portion on the website that was about the AP Calculus exam, but I kind of got the sense that my website was becoming less and less relevant, and it was more about, especially now that we're online, it was more about the videos and things like Google Classroom. So I did post a screenshot that has like the exam weighting for the multiple choice section of the AP exam. But now that we don't have multiple choice, that's perfectly irrelevant. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll post that on the website. In any case, I'll go over the unit 4 now and just give you a breakdown of the different topics. We got about 5 minutes left of class, so I'll finish it there. So unit 4, let me bring that up. I just had it. Yeah, so there's 7 sections in Unit 4. And look at that. Oh man, L'Hopital's rule is in Unit 4. So this is definitely not like, you know, chapter for chapter our textbook, right? So Unit 4. So 4.1 is taking the derivative in context. So derivatives in context. So basically like real world applications of the derivative, like what does the derivative mean in real life. 4.2 is looking at the relationship between velocity, or position, velocity, and acceleration. So position, velocity, and acceleration. It's kind of hard to talk and spell at the same time. 4.3 is rates of change. Okay. 4.4 is intro to related rates. Related rates. I remember when I took calculus, that was the topic that I struggled with hands down the most. I really, really had a hard time with that. Related rates is when you have two rates. And they're related, yeah. So like maybe you've got like some sand that's being poured out of like a some kind of like shaft or something. You're in some kind of like sand machine or whatever, and then it's like piling up like this, right? So you have a rate of something flowing here, and then it's like, okay, so compared to this rate, what is the rate of this little pier or this cone increasing, right? So that's a related rates question. So yeah, maybe we can go over a couple tomorrow. I believe that the question that I assigned today is a related rates question. So maybe tomorrow's class we can kind of go over. Okay, perfect. Well then we'll go over some tomorrow. Basically, what you do is you think about implicit differentiation, and that's really all it boils down to. It's like in its most simplest form, and I'm definitely oversimplifying it, but in its simplest form, it's implicit differentiation. It's like a word problem that uses implicit differentiation. That's really what it boils down to. But we can do some examples tomorrow maybe. 4.5 is, solving related rates problems. Solving related rates. Yeah, exactly. There's one, I remember on the final exam of my calculus exam, there was a wall, like a pier, and there was water, right? And you got a lighthouse, and then the lighthouse is like shining a light like that, and it's rotating at a certain rate, and then you're standing at this point right here closest to the light, and then it's saying how fast is that light moving. And it's one of those things where when you first look at it, you're like, oh god, like I don't know where to start. But then you start writing some things down, and then you say, oh, okay, and then you make some connections, and it's not as hard as it looks. But yeah, definitely, I think that related rates have like the steepest learning curve in the life of a problem. You have this learning curve, right, where you an easy question would be like, oh, take the derivative of this function, right? That's a fairly easy learning curve. You're told exactly what to do. But when it comes to real world applications and word problems, the learning curve is much steeper, right? It's not as obvious what you're supposed to do first, right? So that's related rates problems. Maybe we can do a couple tomorrow. And then, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a related rates problem for sure. Okay, the next one is approximating values of a function. Values of a function using local linearity. Using local linearity. So that would be something like, if you have some kind of curvy function, and you know what the function is at this point, and you know its derivative at that point, right? You know the derivative at that point. Well, maybe you can use that information to these 2 points over here are very similar, right? So you can approximate that function close to the value that you know, right? So that's what that would be talking about. 4.7, which is the final topic, is L'Hopital's rule. L'Hopital's rule. Okay, and that's chapter 4. So it looks like there wasn't a whole lot of interest in the shared Google document, which is fine. And even if you wanted to have your own shared document, maybe you only want to share with 2 or 3 other people, you're welcome to do that. But I do think it's a good idea to have all of these topics listed out somewhere, and then you have a brief description of what those things are. And I hesitate to just give you a list so that you're just copying them down. I think it's much better if you actually have a bit of a scavenger hunt and actually look for what all these things mean. I think that it sounds like 4.4 and 4.5, these ones we might need to spend a little bit of time with. So I think next class, which is Friday, wow, this week went by fast. So Friday, we'll talk about these, and we'll do some examples. Yeah. I think I did. Did I not do that already? Progress checks. Oh, shoot. I think I made the due date the time that I wanted to make it open. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, locked, unlock. Okay, unlocked it. I'll do... Okay, so there's no specified time limit. I tried to have a time limit so that there would be a due date on Monday. But yeah, we're just gonna leave... We'll leave it open. Can you access it now? Is it available to you? Okay. Great. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna sign out now. I think there's one more thing to talk about. Just 1 sec. I believe Monday's a day off for you guys. I think it's an in-service. Yeah. Oh, it is? You're verifying that? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't make that up. I've completely lost track of like the days and the days off that we have. Like tomorrow could be Easter and I wouldn't know. It's just everything's upside down. Is it? So today's Christmas Eve? Oh man, I'm in deep trouble. I didn't get my wife a present. She's gonna be mad at me. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Yeah, okay, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Great. So yeah, tomorrow we'll do some related rates problems. I know that we did like pretty much no math today, but it's kind of more of like an overview of the grading and how things are graded. And as for the exit slip today, what can we do for an exit slip? Why don't for today's exit slip, just to make it easy, exit slip, say hi. Okay, just say hi. Okay. I just need people just to be basically checking the box, but at the same time, I can't. You understand that I can't just have you like check a box, because then everyone would just check the box, right? It does have to be at least a little bit challenging, and it should have to do with today's class. But today I'll go easy on you. Just say hi. I just really need you to, fill those exit slips out, because I'm pretty sure not everyone isn't handing them in. That's right. Yep. So tomorrow what we'll do is I'm going to do some examples for related rates, and we'll also do 5. So I'll open up number 5. So, yeah. Okie dokes. Okay, bye guys. Take care.